We tested her minerals and she was something that we call 4 lows, which is severe mineral depletion across all 4 macro minerals. So her calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium were very low. And like even to say that out loud is embarrassing. I'm like, this is my job and I'm doing all the things I should be doing. And to see that my own child is that depleted, she had things that I thought were just quirks that a lot of little kids have. I've posed the question in my stories, like, does anyone struggle with getting their kids dressed? I literally thought this was just a sensory thing. I was like that when I was a kid. Tags would bother us. Literally cannot wear underwear. But for Ellie, I feel she had the foundations like so rock solid. Our life is built upon that. And then when I introduced this mineral blend to her, it literally took like 3 days for me to be like, something's
Which is just so crazy that it happens that fast.
3 fucking, and it also, that's when I got really sad because I was just like it's this simple. Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to The Wellness Effect. I am Kira. I am joined today by my beautiful sister Lacey, and we are missing our cute little bestie Jensen. She's just doing stuff today and she couldn't be here, okay?
She's living her best life without
She's
us,
living her
but
best life.
we're going to have a sister family day.
We're going to have a sister family day and see how it goes. Maybe we'll get into a fight. Maybe we won't. Stick around to find out. No, this is going to be a really cool episode I'm hosting today, and I'm going to talk about children's health and specifically some foundations that you can implement today that are actually going to make a huge difference in the health of your kids. And I want to kind of start by talking a little bit about my daughter. And like every once in a while when I'm talking or posting about Ellie, I'm like, oh, is she going to hate me for this one day? Like talking about this, but sorry, girlfriend, I'm doing it anyway. But she's amazing. Ellie, she is just the best. And there are obviously like, I think a lot of parents are going to relate to these. Like you love your children. Everyone thinks their kids are the best. And of course, like any of us, she had things that I thought were just quirks that a lot of little kids have. So I know if you've followed me for a while, I've posed the question in my stories, like, does anyone struggle with getting their kids dressed? Like I literally thought this was just, they say it's a sensory thing. I was like that when I was a kid. Brett was like that when he was a kid. Like tags would bother us. Literally cannot wear underwear. I couldn't wear jeans until I was like 15 years old because I'm like, who would ever willingly put jeans on their body? Like, I don't know. And she's kind of the same way. And again, like it's so normalized. And I would like post it on my Instagram stories and I would get like so many messages. I was going to say hundreds, but I'd get like 20 messages, which is a lot for me. Like I don't have a huge following. And to have that many conversations with people from my stories, I think just shows that there is like overlap of or overarching theme of people struggling with this with their kids. So I just started to I tried all the things. I've even talked about this, literally just like giving her time, planning her outfits in advance, letting her pick everything out, trying 10 different types of pairs of socks, doing sticker charts, having a schedule that she can look at. And then we just follow that every single day. Even just like, okay, I'm pinning you down and putting your socks on. Like, I'm sad to say I have also done that. And just none of it ever like worked long term. Like it would be like something new and it would work for like a day and then it wouldn't work anymore. And I'm just like, okay, this is wild. How do people live with this? And so then I just thought, okay, Kira, like you're literally a practitioner. If someone came to you and told you their kid was doing this, like what would you do? How would you help them? And so I just started kind of noticing other little things that seemed to be kind of on that same vein, like sensitivity to whatever. So I noticed she's really grumpy a lot when she gets up in the morning. Again, I thought that was just like a character trait. Like I joke that like Jake is like me in the mornings. He's like so happy and like laughing and giggling. And Ellie is like Brett. She's just grumpy when she wakes up. She just needs a minute. And I kind of started tracking like other things. I'm just trying to remember. I have a list in my phone, but of course I'm using it to record right now. But I think a lot of them were
What about even like her
very
emotional regulation?
Yes, that's one of them is like probably once a week or once every other week or whatever. We would have like a 30 to 45 minute situation where she would like just kind of come unraveled. And a part of me was just like, okay, this is totally normal. And I think to an extent it can be, but we're going to talk a little bit about why I really question this now. And, like, I would just sit with her and try to really keep my nervous system calm, like, everything we're supposed to do, let her move through the emotions. I don't want her to think it's bad to feel this way. I want her to have the ability to hold these big emotions through her life, so I'm just holding space for her, and I found that really easy for some reason, so I was just like, "Okay, this is chill." I just, like, hang out here and, like, wait until she wants to hug me, and it would take forever, and then she would finally kinda come down from it, and we would just, like, do that every couple weeks.
I think it's also too just to even normalize this even more because like Ellie was your first kid and you don't know
Yeah.
what is like normal to be expected and like when you think about when you or what you remember from other kids it's usually like oh yeah that kid was having a meltdown in the restaurant
Yeah.
that kid was having a meltdown in the store and so because wasn't even you saying that like Brett went and spent time with Ellie and other kids where he kind of realized like oh other kids aren't quite like Ellie.
Well, and, like, we even thought just, like, getting her to sit at the table and eat a meal. We're like, "Is she not hungry? Like, what's going on?" She's just so distracted. And, yeah, like you said, her being our only child for so long, it was like we had all the time in the world, and we were like, "Whatever, she was so angelic to us because we, like, struggled to have another baby so much, so it's like, we have this one precious, perfect baby, and we need to I mean, God, who knows what we've done there, but it just it made it okay that, like, it took a while, like, I didn't have a crying baby on my hip while she was freaking out, so when Jake was born, that's when I think I really got this, like, kick in the ass of, like, "Kira, this might not be normal, and if it is normal, it's not really sustainable for me to now do this with 2 children." I'm like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." So, I feel like this is going to probably, like, piss people off or trigger people to hear me saying this because it is on one hand, it's like kids are gonna be kids and they're gonna have big emotions and they're gonna not wanna eat their food and they're gonna get up from the table and they're gonna get distracted. I think it is normal. It's just to the extent that it was starting to take over our life is not, and I was like, I've read every parenting book that there is out there. I've tried every tactic. I've tried no tactics. I've tried, like, literally everything. She's had it all. And so I'm really excited because today we're going to go into a little bit about the mineral journey that I've taken her on. This episode of The Wellness Effect is brought to you by Lifestyle You. If you're listening to this podcast and thinking, okay, this sounds like me, whether it's low energy, hormone imbalances, stubborn symptoms, or you just feel like you've tried everything, Lifestyle You is our root cause coaching program designed to help you actually connect the dots.
We use functional nutrition, personalized support, and functional lab testing to figure out why your body is doing what it's doing, instead of just guessing or slapping a band-aid on symptoms.
And because you're a listener of The Wellness Effect, when you use the code Wellness Effect, you'll receive a free functional lab when you join the program. If this episode is resonating with you, make sure to share it with a friend, subscribe to the podcast, and check out the show notes to learn more about Lifestyle You and how to apply.
And I should have looked at the date that I did this, but I did an HTMA on her. So that's the test that we use within our program, the root cause reset for our clients. And I don't know why it took me so long to do this on Ellie, but basically it's a 3-month picture of what's happening inside of our cells, right? So what minerals look like, what's going on underneath, are there any heavy metals blocking absorption of specific minerals? And then I got her on the Vicon mineral blend, which again, I'm like, why did this take me so long? Because we constantly preach about how depleted our soil is, how depleted we are as humans, and especially as mothers, and how depleted our food sources are, and all the toxins we're constantly taking in, and the stressors, and the birth control, and the medications. Like, we know that better than anybody, how much these things are contributing to our struggles. So for me to be so removed for so long from, like, considering that it might also have impacted my child because most of my healing came after I had Ellie. Well, I kind of, like, started the journey when I was pregnant with her, which is, like, a little too late to be I mean, it's never too late. That's another thing I really wanna stress in this episode is that it's never too late to support your kids in the way that we're going to talk about. But, yeah, so we tested her minerals, and she was something that we call 4 lows, which is severe mineral depletion across all 4 macro minerals. So her calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium were very low. And, like, even to say that out loud is, like, embarrassing. I'm like, "This is my job, and I'm very conscious and aware of what I'm feeding my" there's some treats in our house, but, like, there is not shit food in our house. Like, our meals are very well balanced. She eats what we eat. Like, I'm doing all the things I should be doing, and to see it, I think it's honestly and I know that's, like, a pattern in my life, and the reason that I'm here is to, like, share these things, and to see that my own child is that depleted, to me, it's like, this is a reflection of all children, to be totally honest, and I'm meant to, like, spread this message and share this.
I think that was good. It's just crazy to like how much of this has all just been so normalized and you just
Yeah.
don't and
Well, and
it's just
even,
with that
like
with like everything, but it's like we are meant to feel and amazing and like thrive. And it's
yeah.
just wild once you start understanding all of the things that have been normal but are not.
Well, and every parenting book is just like, "You need to be more regulated," and which is a thing, but, like, "You need to get better tools in place, and you need to learn how to do this, and you need to learn how to do this for your kids," and, like, it's all about doing more, constantly doing more and being a better parent, and that's, like, the solve of it all, and again, I think that is a piece of the puzzle, like, we have to have awareness and intention in parenting, but it shouldn't be, like, white knuckling your way through the experience, of just like everyone's barely hanging on. And again, just having Ellie as our only, we just didn't really realize, I don't think. Like, I don't even like to say that she was that hard or difficult because it didn't feel that way at the time. And she's like such an incredible personality and soul that you just like feel.
Well, I think it's hard for anyone to like admit like there might be something wrong with you and we should look into it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that goes for even our like selves. Like we have a
Mhm.
coach that's newer on our team and she's never ran an HTMA before. And it took her like 8 weeks of us being like, are you, and she was just like nervous of what she was going to find.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like a additional layer of even parents, it's hard to admit that you might have done something that didn't serve your child or like, you weren't had all the minerals when you got pregnant and so then Ellie didn't get what she was supposed, you know what I mean? Like there's so
Mhm.
much of a like shame probably wrapped around it that I can't even like begin to relate to or imagine, but it would just be such a to be able to like accept that and then also okay, if we're going to figure out something is wrong, that means we have a long road ahead of figuring it
Correcting
out.
it.
So
Yeah.
then it's like okay, what are we going to do next? But yeah.
Well, the beauty of the HTMA is you don't even have to know. You get exactly your roadmap right
That's what we're here
out
for.
for you. So, yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about what happened after we got the HTMA. So, again, we gave her that. I made that blend, that Vicon blend that we use for all our clients. So, we literally look at the HTMA, how minerals work together because you can't just look at like, oh, my kid has low this and I'm going to add it in, right? Like every single mineral has cofactors and things that kind of work against it. And you really need to be mindful and trained in this. And then we can create these blends that are this like perfect magical mixture, very personalized to what is going on and like what we're hoping to like change and support. So, specifically, if it's mood, if it's skin issues, if it's digestion issues, if it's more behavior, if it's sleep, you can really like zero in on that. And it was just so amazing to like, I'm like, oh yeah, actually, like she does kind of have that going on. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So we get her blend in the mail, and I'm like, whatever. Like, a lot of our clients get their blend at the beginning of their program when they're also really learning the foundations of wellness and what that looks like. And they're starting to integrate that. And it can take some time to see the results. But for Ellie, I feel she had the foundations like so rock solid. They're just like our life is built upon that, which is what I'm like so proud of because those are all there, they're in place. And then when I introduced this mineral blend, to her, it literally took like 3 days for me to be like, "Huh, something's."
Which is just so crazy that it happens that fast.
3 fucking, and it also, that's when I, like, got really sad because I was just like, like, it's this simple. She's been struggling. She has been struggling. Like, she can feel it in her body and I can notice it, but we're both just, like, trying to pretend that, we live in the 1800s when our soil still had fucking minerals in it, and we just don't live in that anymore. And we need to, honestly, what it's made me realize and what it's made me want to, like, preach is, like, we just can't ignore this stuff anymore and, like, skate by. And, like, everyone's health, everyone's mental health, everyone's physical health, spiritual health, emotional health is riding on this and banking on the fact that we are depleted in different ways and for different reasons, but everybody is, and you actually have to intentionally support it in some way, shape, or form. Like, you just can't not anymore. It's, like, not even funny or, like, annoying, or, like, people think we're just, like, wellness influencers and we're just, like, spouting garbage, and it's like, "No, no, no. You don't get to just pretend anymore." Like, we're in the sickest time of any time that there has ever been from, like, a chronic illness viewpoint, and we're just kind of pretending that it's not going to impact our kids because we're, like, giving them a multi-chew vitamin.
Yeah, a gummy vitamin.
A gummy vitamin.
No, I think it's just crazy to think about. And I've been thinking about that a lot because we posted last when we recorded this before you guys are listening to it. But that reel of you where you're like, it was easy to kind of like push off my shit. But like when it is your kid that's struggling, it's so different. And I think now, even in that video, you also said like we're entering this next generation where it's really the millennials having babies and they're growing up, and it's just they're going to be so sick because we were that generation that was raised on the ultra processed foods and the birth control and all of that. And now it's like we in the middle of it, but people who've already had kids, like they didn't do any of the work that they needed to do, you know what I mean? And so it's their kids. And it's like, even you, someone who like does everything, your foundations are in place. It's like, there's also
It's
just
not
that
enough.
it's not enough. And it's also too like you can't ignore like the emotional nervous system part of it, where if you think about Ellie's life, you were dealing with miscarriage after miscarriage, you know what I mean? So it's like she also took that on nervous system wise, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you can't just, but most people aren't even doing the foundations, you know what I mean? Plus there's that layer added on. And so it's just,
that's why it's exactly why I wanted to record this today, because I started sharing a little bit of her journey and like the changes that I'm seeing, and I'm like, I gave her this supplement, and like 3 days later, and everyone's like, what is it? What's the supplement? What's the supplement? And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just want to wrap up her story, and then we're going to get into the foundations that you need to be focusing on, and we'll kind of talk through those. But okay, so 3 days, I actually have a note that I'm going to bring up because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But I started noticing so many changes that I literally had to write a note on my phone. So I'm like, hey, I got to write this down because this is fucking crazy. Okay, so, this is perfect. April 20th, we started her blend. April 25th, I wrote, she just seems more level-headed. So I was just noticing that, like, I wasn't having to, I always just, it's so, like, funny looking back, but I would be like, Ellie really needs to know exactly what's going on. Like, she needs to know that in 3 sleeps, we're going to grandma's house, and she needs to start getting ready for what she wants to bring. And, like, again, I just thought she was, like, this prepared queen, but her nervous system was just, like, needed.
It's like that type A.
Yes, already. And I just noticed that was starting to like wane. Like I could just be like, oh, we're going to go do this now. And she would just be like, okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. This is cool. And then I wrote this April 26th. So this is 6 days after we started the blend. I said we were going to go for a walk, and she just left, and I just didn't think anything of it because so normally it would take like a half hour. Like I'd say, okay, Ellie, in 45 minutes, we're going to be going for a walk. And I would like feed Jake, put my hair in a ponytail, tidy up the kitchen. Like I would give her all of this time. And I said to her, we're going for a walk. And she just left and came back and had her boots, jacket, gloves, toque, socks on by herself for the first time ever. She didn't even whine one time. She just like went out and got dressed. And I was like,
that's so crazy.
Because know how to people who understand struggling with getting their kid dressed, I don't even have to go down what those moments would be like because it was insane. And then I also wrote, I've noticed her appetite increase immensely this week. It's almost doubled. So she would just like sit at the table and eat her full breakfast. And I was like, oh, that's a weird something that I didn't even really associate. I just thought like that was her appetite. And then I said she also woke up, got dressed, brushed her teeth, and then asked me to make her breakfast for her, which I feel like this might sound dumb to you, Lacey.
No, I think this is really good because it's also just goes on like how easy it is to normalize these things because again, Ellie's your first baby and we're all doing this for the first time. It's like you don't know. And also too, it's just been so normalized that all kids are so different and some kids do freak out and you need to react like this and blah, blah, like, you know what I mean? The answer has never been like, oh, you should check your minerals. And so, no, I think this is really painting the picture of just like, you're normalizing a lot of your kids' troubles as just their personality when.
Yeah. Yes. No. Okay. And then May 12th, I said, she didn't wake up grumpy today. And she hasn't woke up grumpy since May 12th. Like she hasn't had a grumpy morning anymore. I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's great. So we're a month out because it's May 20th as we're recording this. Yeah. And so, it's been a month now.
And then I said, I cannot remember her last full-blown tantrum. So I don't remember the last time that I sat in a room with her for half an hour, 45 minutes and like just did my thing. And then this morning, so May 20th, a month, and this is going to kind of get into a little bit of woo-woo, but I actually like made a reel on this the other day. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like her capacity for awareness is like growing. And it's like, I kind of had this like download about it that it's like her body is becoming more capable of holding her soul. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how to, but it's like that our bodies are these like electrical things when we don't have minerals and all the electrical signals get like crazy. It's like who you truly are doesn't have a stable seat to ground into. You never really get to like be who you are.
It makes sense. Like it's like almost like the way I'm picturing it is like a big personality where she can't like hold it. And so then it like, that's and so
it's like,
cool.
It's like the two are coherent now. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And she like, her emotional awareness is less reactive and crazy, but more intense, if that makes sense. Like a song, what did I see? Oh, friends of ours who I know were like struggling to get pregnant, their third baby, they posted that they are, and I like kind of started to cry. And instantly she just goes, why are you crying, mommy? I said, oh, like so-and-so is having another baby. And she was like, oh, cool. So like she's more aware of my emotions, but they don't like take her away. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been, I'm like, this is so crazy. Like, what the fuck is going on? So that's where we're at. Yeah. This is the part that I, again, want to make really clearly because this is the whole point of this episode is what we're going to get into is that those minerals didn't just fix her out of nowhere. It wasn't just like the magic sauce that I sprinkled on and like they worked fast because we already had her foundations so solid. Like I said, our home, it's just part of her life. Like I at least have done that right basically since she was born. We'll get into what all they are. But again, that blend was that last piece of the puzzle, right? That clicked everything into place. And I don't really think we see results like that in that short of a time period if you don't have these things already in place. But here's what I really just like cannot stop thinking about. Like you said, Lacey, a million times, it's like we just think it's normal or it was my fault. It was, again, we preach this too. It's like her body was like, Mom, like, hello, I'm trying to tell you something. I have a message for you. Will you fucking listen? And as someone who preaches that constantly, I'm like, I swear my message is going to be like teaching people to listen to their bodies. And then I'm like, but not my kid, but not my kid's body. So funny.
And I think, it's just so not what society has put on moms for like where their brain is to go. And you know what I mean? It's like, even when you think about the amount of medication that we just get handed out for having, like, I know like the sensory issues, that's like a huge sign of, is it autism or ADHD? You know what I mean? So many people like just immediate, oh, they're this, here's this label. And then once someone has a label, you just start looking for all these other confirmations to confirm that label that you've given them. So then you never think like, oh, maybe there's like a root cause. It's like, no, she has this and this is her label and she used to go on medication and she's, you know what I mean? So it's just like, that's kind of what society always thinks. It's not like, oh, there should be a root cause. And even like from our belief system too, with knowing all that we know, we kind of thought that kids, it's like almost like pointless to test kids because they have such high minerals because they're just kids. And so it's like, even if they had an issue, it wouldn't be depleted yet. But it's like, when we really zoom out, we're like, well, that doesn't fucking make sense, because if their mom is depleted and everything they eat is depleted, then it's like, of course they're going to be depleted. And they're giving all these signs of nervous system dysregulation. But we're just supposed to like normalize that because, well, they don't understand how to navigate those emotions. It's like, well, maybe.
And, and honestly,
anyways,
it's like they're closer to the other side than we are, if you ask me. So they probably know, and they're just like, what the fuck? But yeah, and then another thing I just want to drop in, because I know it's like, it can feel overwhelming, especially to hear me say like, I've been doing the foundation since she was born and like that's why this all works. So you're like, well, what's the point? But it's just never, ever, ever too late to start. And if you are listening to this with a kid, if you're someone with a kid listening to this, like, you are going to give them a step ahead, and then they don't have to come and find someone like us to work with when they are like 30 years old or 40 or 50. Like, I've had clients in their 60s, and it's like, this is the first time they're ever looking at their health in this way. So I just don't ever want a parent to feel like they're behind or it's too late or they can't just support their kids, even if you're not really worried about their symptoms or whatever, or even if you have a diagnosis. It's not erasing that. I'm not here saying that like autism isn't real and it can be cured. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying, but those kids still need support too. You know what I mean? And it's not like, yeah. So I just think that kids are so resilient. It's so amazing. So you don't have to have done this from birth. You can just start. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about today.
And I think too, just even like thinking about women that come into our program, it's like 70% of kids will just need these foundations, but there are kids like Ellie who it's like they need that supplement on top of the foundations to supplement the foundations, which is great. But it's also just not saying that like, well, everyone isn't going to need this big mineral blended. You guys just have to be consistent with the foundations for 3 years and then you're going to have success. It's like, no, for most kids, these foundational habits are what they need and are what are lacking. But if your child's had a traumatic life, or you've had a traumatic life while your child's been alive, then look deeper.
Or before they were even born.
Or before they were even born.
Or in your past lives.
Yes.
Or if any of
your mom's life, or
your mom's life, or your whatever. But even, okay, so I want to kind of pull back a little bit. Sorry, but this is the last time I'll go off on a tangent before we actually get into what the foundations are. But again, these things that are constantly normalized with kids are like when Jake first started having eczema. Literally, I can't even tell you how many aunties, my dad was just like, well, kids just get rashes. Well, all kids just have rashes on their face. And I'm just like, no, they do not. And that was easy for me not to normalize for some reason. But like the nervous system stuff it's more my block, you know? And then I'm just going to list off things that I kind of see. So like picky eating, literally linked to a mineral deficiency, just so you know. And then, yeah, like eczema, if your kid is always getting sick, that is not normal. I know everyone is always like, loves to talk about how it's flu season. And as soon as your kid's going to daycare, they're just going to always be sick. No, Ellie she's not, happy to say. She gets sick once a year.
That's a good one.
Yes, it's not normal. I don't know why people think that it's literally normal. Like, you get sick sometimes. You're in a hot room with 20 disgusting other humans. Like, you're going to get sick, but it shouldn't be like literally heal, go back a week later, you're sick again. Like, that is not normal. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like really normalized kid-wise. I don't think so. Right? Or can you think of anything? I'm
No,
sure
I think
there
we
is.
like
There's a
covered a
million
lot of
things.
it with just like the behavioral things, but it's just like any weird thing. And even what you said about like, oh, it was easy for you not to normalize eczema because that's like a physical symptom
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you have the knowledge to know, okay, skin issues equal internal. But when it's these like behavioral traits, you're a first time mom, you love your kid more than absolutely anything. You don't think, oh, they're, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's not as common to see that direct link between behavioral and minerals, especially in our work, working with grown adults. It's like, we're not we probably do ask them at this point, like, are you having meltdowns? But
Yeah.
it's like they come to us for the physical symptoms. It's never about the behavioral or the
Right.
like mindset side of things, because those usually don't create enough pain or uncertainty to where people want to take action. It's usually driven from visual things.
Yes. Well, and like as you're saying this, I'm like, oh, this was literally like me being in the victim mindset of like, I just got to read another parenting book. It's just all my fault. I have to get it right. Me, 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 me. And it's like, no, man, she just needed some fucking sodium and
Oh,
potassium.
that gave me goosebumps. Yeah,
I know.
it's
That was
crazy.
crazy. I got goosebumps too. Okay. Anywho. So there's kind of like a framework that I have been working on that sort of holds all this together for kids. And I just want you to kind of understand what it is. So there's sort of 3 stages to this, what I call input, processing, and outputs. So input is everything going into and around your kids: food, water, light, sleep, air, stress, connection, what's in your friggin' dish soap, laundry detergent. All of those things are inputs. Your kid's body has to take all of that in, whether it's good, bad, whatever. It always has these inputs coming in. And then there's the processing. So their body has to process all of this, right? It's what's happening on the inside. So, how is their nervous system reacting? How is their gut reacting? Are they absorbing things? Is their body actually able to do what we want it to do? And then the outputs are the signals that their body sends back out to us. And this is basically answering that question: is their body able to do what it's trying to do? Sleep, skin, poop, mood, behavior, energy, immunity. These are all outputs. These are signals. They're not always just personality. And again, they're not our fault. They're literally, like I said, it's just so funny that I wrote this. And now I'm like, they're our kid's body communicating that something needs attention. Oh, man. Yeah, so it is just like that check engine light, these things. They're just a chance for us to kind of step back, see what's going on under the hood. So for Ellie, those grumpy mornings, struggling with her socks. Oh, and I didn't even talk about like her sleep. Oh my God. How did I forget about that? Yeah, I'm not going to get into her sleep, but it was so hard, basically. And again, sleep is so normalized. I don't even want to know what the baby sleep industry is fucking worth, because I bet it's billions, getting moms to think that there's a fix to their kids' sleep issues. And she's falling asleep in 15 minutes now, and it used to take an hour and a half. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Total random side note, but I went down this girl's page rabbit hole yesterday because she had quadruplets, so 4 babies, 3 boys and a little
Jesus.
girl, and they've slept 12 hours since they were, I want to say 4 weeks old, and they're like a year and a half now. Every night, all in the same room, all in different beds. I'm just like, how is that possible? But I'm like, I just wonder if having someone else there with you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
For
it was such
sure.
an interesting dynamic. But anyways.
I think like twins and quadruplets, they just have a weird bond going on. Like they even say if like one twin is in the NICU, if you take the other twin, their rate of survival is like way, way, way lower. So they'll just like put the twin with the NICU twin to like.
And it almost makes sense
regulate
because you
each
like
other.
grow your first 9 months, and like that's like the difference between like babies more connected to mom, and
Yeah.
so it's like they have that connection with each other. So when they're sleeping and they're together, they also
Yeah.
have that sense of comfort, like as if mom was there. Yeah, it's so interesting. But
It is
anyways.
interesting to see Jake's sleep this time when we didn't even try like put him in a crib. We've just co-slept, bed shared from the beginning, and I'm just like, he's such a good sleeper. It's fucking crazy. I'm like, okay. So I am going to go through this 7 foundational habits. These aren't protocols. These aren't supplements. These are foundations. And this is what makes everything that I've talked about in this episode, these moments with Ellie, are not possible without these things. So I'm just going to say that again. These moments, these goosebumps, these aha moments that we are having with Ellie are not possible without the foundations. And I'm going to go through 7 today with you guys. And these are the ones that I really think make the biggest difference. So, habit number 1, I did this just for you, Lacey, and it is a big protein forward breakfast.
Woohoo!
Yay. So, I'm starting here because I think this is really the fastest win. And I love that Lacey's here with me today to talk about this because I think it's just so underestimated. And you're probably listening, being like, I give my kid protein, but like, do you? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? Because when we're waking our kids up in the morning and they're having like cereal and a piece of toast and a fruit pouch or like even some fruit, and you're like, okay, I'm being healthy. They're getting fruit. But basically, most of that is refined carbs and sugar. And even if some of it, like the fruit or whatever, is healthy sugar, it's still causing a blood sugar spike really fast and high, especially in these little bodies. And anytime something goes up, what does it got to do, Lacey?
It's got to come down.
It's got to come down. So their body is like, what is happening here? It's a little bit of an emergency. This is what happens in a blood sugar response. It triggers cortisol, fight or flight. So now your kid is either trying to get ready for school, trying to sit at school, or even if you homeschool, maybe you're trying to get dressed and like go outside for a walk, and their body is like jacked up. So
Using
this
those
is
minerals. Using those minerals.
And that again is burning through minerals. So if you're seeing a lot of meltdowns, struggle, focusing, emotional outbursts in the morning, or if you give your kids a meal, this is any meal, and then 30 minutes later they're starving, that is blood sugar. That's not behavior. That's not attitude. Well, they probably are hungry, but they wouldn't be hungry if you had given them some protein. So this one's so doable. Like you don't have to overhaul everything. And even if you start with, like, Ellie will have cereal a couple times a month. I'm very picky about the ones that I choose. You can DM me if you want to know more about that. I won't go down that road, but I also have a really high quality protein powder and I will whisk it into her milk. So her protein or her cereal, if she ever gets it, is full of protein. And I used to feel like weird and icky about that, but I'm just like, no, I have no shame around that fact. But for the most part, it's like we're having some protein. So whether it's a really good quality yogurt, some sausage, some eggs, some protein powder, typically that's kind of it that we do for breakfast. Or like we will do bacon sometimes, or I'll make like banana egg pancakes, but protein is always the focus. And then of course she gets like some yummy fruit, or if we're having like a piece of toast, whatever. But I just really wish that people would do, and even like she goes to daycare and they give them a snack. A lot of the kids get to daycare and it's their first time eating for the day. It's around like 9 o'clock or whatever. And it's fruit and cereal every single day, which is a ton of carbs, a ton of sugar. I'm just like, how are those workers 45
They're
minutes
not.
later?
They're all struggling with mental health issues. They're all stressed out. And it's true. It's like, it's crazy. But I think even too what you said about like feeling weird about giving protein powder, it's like, it's okay, especially in the beginning, because
Yeah.
you know, if they are really dysregulated and they are low in these minerals and they've been lacking these foundations, they probably don't want to eat the fucking egg. And they probably, you know what I mean? So it's like if you have to kind of meet them in the middle and create this delicious bowl of cereal with like a chocolate, they think chocolate milk, but it's chocolate protein, like that's okay. Or if you need to buy like the delicious Greek yogurt that's flavored so that they actually eat it, then it's okay to kind of start there. And then as they get better and they get used to eating in the morning, like they're literally just like us, and just how you don't want to eat in the morning, they probably don't either. So it's like you have to start slow, and it's don't feel like less than if they're not eating your like grass-fed sausage and eggs, and it's like it's okay if you just give
like
them a
we
scoop of
get
protein
some
powder.
good ketchup and she's dipping her sausage in ketchup, and some days she doesn't eat any of her egg and I just keep putting it on the plate, and like it's not ever perfect, but yeah, I like that. It's just you got to start low and slow. Okay. Habit number 2, morning light within an hour of waking up. So this kind of falls under that circadian rhythm pillar. You guys know how obsessed we are with that. You can go back and listen to our circadian rhythm episode. And in that episode, I even talk about how kids are impacted quicker by poor circadian rhythm, but they also recover faster and see the benefits faster from good circadian rhythm. So, just like ours, every single cell in our kid's body is running on that 24-hour clock, and that clock is powered by light. So, morning sunlight is that on switch. It's telling the brain it's daytime, it's setting up their digestion, it's also setting them up for good sleep that night, which I think is very overlooked. So, melatonin is going to click on 14 to 16 hours after they see morning sunlight. So, just think about that when you want your kid to go to sleep at night. It's like everyone wakes up in the morning and I'm just like, "Ellie, have you got your morning sun?" And she just goes out and stands on the deck. Of course, that's easy right now in the summertime. Winter's a bit of a different story, but
But
make it
even just
fun.
think about how easy and again how normalized the habit has been of like, oh, you can watch morning cartoons or so it's
Mhm.
like kids are sitting in front of the TV watching cartoons while they eat their bowl of sugary cereal and then you wonder why XYZ.
XYZ. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, again, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Even if you just keep it in the back of your mind and like roll down the windows on the way to school, or we just keep our back door open when we're making breakfast. The layout of our house is so great for this. But in the winter, I just make it fun. And it's like, let's see who can stand outside the longest. And we make it like 60 seconds, like a minute, but it's like, whatever, we're out there, we're doing it. And it's keeping that consistency. So that is number two. And then pillar number three is minerals in their water. So, of course, these aren't like a fix all, and I could talk about this one forever, but I'm going to try to keep it low and slow. But minerals are the spark plugs of the human body. They are cofactors for thousands of enzymatic reactions. And like without them, literally nothing works. Nerve signaling, our immune system, our sleep, our detoxification, our skin health, digestion, especially, I think, like nervous system
Mm-hmm.
regulation is so important because not only do you need minerals to regulate your nervous system, you also deplete them when you're dysregulated. So it's like a two for one,
Yeah.
draining them. And like we've talked about, our soil is just so depleted. So our food is depleted, and kids specifically growing really fast are already burning through minerals quickly. And so if we're like trying to do the good thing and give them filtered water that's stripped of everything, no wonder their bodies are struggling. So this is another really, really simple, easy thing to do. Like even if you just start with a pinch of good quality sea salt in their water, that's fine. We love the trace minerals. You can get them on Amazon, Aussie Trace Minerals. We'll link them in the show notes. It's literally just like putting 5 drops in their water bottle and forgetting about it for the day. And this is a really easy way to just incorporate minerals while you're working through the foundation slowly and before you kind of go down the road of anything custom, if that's something that you ever decide to do with your kids. It's just such an easy, inexpensive way. And honestly, everyone should be doing everything I'm talking about in this episode. But again, it's just so easy to forget our kids and like the chaos of it all. And I also just recorded a reel the other day about like bringing them along with you on your wellness journey and bring yourself along. Like if your kids are struggling in all these ways, I do believe it's a reflection of us, as hard as that can be to admit. And as I don't know, if you don't
Well, and I just
agree
even
or
while you're
like,
saying that, it's just so funny how much we hear like on calls with even potential clients or even like clients that are in our container is like, well, I don't want to make 3 separate meals, like one for my husband, one for me, and one for my kids. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
you should all probably be eating the same. And that
yeah,
is what's different about our program is it's not a diet, it is a lifestyle. We want you to change how you're eating for the rest of time. And so it makes sense that your family would eat like you. This isn't like some crazy restricted diet where you would maybe make different meals for your husband and your
yeah,
child. But it's, yeah, everything you are doing, your child should also be doing,
and vice
and
versa.
vice versa.
Okay, so then number 4, unstructured outdoor movement and grounding. So this one, I was like, oh, am I going to put this one in? Am I not? But I'm going to, mainly for this one point that it's like, okay, we've convinced ourselves that like these structured activities and like a full schedule is what's going to help our kids thrive, develop, whatever. So, okay, your kids in swimming and soccer and dance and music, but like that's not what we're talking about. kids are supposed to be running and climbing and rolling down a hill and like getting muddy and barefoot and just being a kid outside where there's no one telling them what to do and like nothing to accomplish. This is actually how their nervous systems develop. It's how they build that like sense of awareness of their body in space and balance, and they discharge stress and big emotions. And like if they're doing this barefoot with their feet on the grass, there's a lot of research on this now that contact with the earth's surface actually reduces inflammation, supports the nervous system. Kids used to do this all day long. Even like our childhood, we were literally just like, peace out, man. See ya when we see ya. And you're just outside. Like I always say this, like one time I just found a machete in the woods and then we had a machete. Like we just had a fucking machete. And it was like our tool that we wore around and we could use to like cut stuff up. And now I'm just like, if Ellie goes around the corner at the park, I'm like, oh my God, where is she? I can't see her. It's like, Jesus.
Or like picks up a butter knife. We're like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. So giving them just that unstructured, it just really charges their batteries. And something like I've noticed, and I think every parent notices this, it's like, oh, everyone sleeps great when we're at the lake. It's like, it's because we're outside all day doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting sun, they're barefoot, they're in and out of the water, they're throwing rocks, they're, I don't know, doing stuff.
Okay, well, I have two thoughts of this now that's coming to me. So one, if you think about dogs, I just learned this fun fact, but they actually get way more out of uninterrupted. They're allowed to like lead the walk and sniff. Like they would rather do 10 minutes of that where you just let them sniff and they lead the way and they go wherever they want versus like a 40-minute lap where you're like, come on, come on, come on, come on. So that's like just one thing. Dogs are like kids. But two, I just learned this is like the reason why as we get older, time goes by so fast is because we're such in a routine. And it was Kylie Jenner that said this, but she's like, I read somewhere that when we're kids, why time goes so slow is because we're constantly experiencing new things for the first time. And so that's like, it's the same with kids. If they get into that routine and it's just like the same every single day where they don't have that like expansion to go out and experience new stuff. And just, I don't really know how those two things are connected now that I'm like talking out loud, but regardless, it's, yeah.
I don't know. I love
less
it.
Structure, the better.
Yes.
So anyways, Kylie Jenner says, try new things. If life's going too fast, book a pottery class.
Yeah. I was actually just working on another reel talking about like collapsing time. And I'm like, we've literally added all these things to our life to like speed everything up in the most intense way possible. Like we can't even be bothered to like grind our coffee and then boil water to make our coffee. It's just, we got to put a pot in and fucking go. And then we wonder why we still have no time. Somehow we're doing everything quicker than we ever have before, but we don't have time for anything. And it's like, well, we're not making time. You can literally create time. Well, that's a whole other, I'm not going to. I'm in a weird
Don't even
stage.
bring ChatGPT into this.
Yeah, don't even get me started on ChatGPT. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear Jake. He's having his unstructured play by himself right now. No, I'm kidding. He's with my mom.
So outdoor movement, grounding, check.
Yeah. Next pillar, protecting their light environment at night. And I wanted to take this away from morning light because I think these are just so important and so under talked about. And I know this is such a hard one because it's screens and overhead lighting at night and that blue light that they're putting into your kids' eyes. Again, we talk about the signal of the sun in the morning. If we're getting that blue light at night, this is a daytime signal. It's telling every child, every cell in your child's body, it's daytime. So that's suppressing melatonin, that's elevating cortisol. And then we put them to bed and we're like, good luck in there. Like, why is it going to take an hour for them to wind it down? Like, and the thing about it is even a brief exposure, even just like a minute of blue light in the evening can knock melatonin back to zero. And their body is now restarting that whole process from scratch. So if your kid is on a tablet until 7:30 at night, or you do a show every night after dinner or after your bath, or even if you're like listening to a meditation on YouTube and your phone is up right beside them, like, yes, that's great in theory, but the blue light is still doing its thing. So this is not I find this to be such an easy one in theory, but so difficult in practice and can make such a huge difference. So honestly, we have blue light blocking glasses for Ellie. We do a movie night like once every other week and she wears them and we have red light bulbs in everyone's bedrooms and I mean, red light bulbs are like $15, so just get a couple for the bathroom and thank me later.
Literally.
Okay, and this one is for me. So co-regulation. So your nervous system first, and this I think is the missing piece for a lot of families and something that I've had to work on super hard. Children cannot regulate their nervous system on their own. Some people say it's not until our like mid 20s actually when the prefrontal cortex actually finishes developing. So when your 4-year-old is losing it in the grocery store, they literally don't have the capacity to bring themselves down. They need someone to mirror that. They need someone calm to help them get to that state, and this is called co-regulation. And once you kind of understand it, it's like just so cool. But your nervous system, especially as moms, I think like, yes, dads are so important too, but like we literally grew them in their nervous system and you're just constantly connected, like literally all the time. So your calmness is contagious. So when you can regulate, they can regulate. When you're dysregulated and stressed and in a rush, they're going to mirror that. And then from that space, as we all know, a dysregulated nervous system cannot heal. It cannot digest properly. It cannot absorb the one nutrient you're getting from your food. It can't sleep well. It's like a prerequisite for anything else that we're talking about today to actually work is having a calm nervous system. And of course, minerals play a huge part in that, but also like we always talk about who you surround yourself with. And your kid doesn't get a choice. They're just like stuck with you. So you need to be doing these things and better yet doing them with your kids. So like some breath work, legs up the wall, going for a walk, and even just making it more intentional, bringing yourself back into your body, just small little things like name how you're feeling. I'm feeling a little agitated, whatever word is. Like we always call them like different bugs in our house. So it's like, oh, I have an annoying bug. Oh, I have a angry bug. I need to take it for a walk. And then instead of being the emotion, I like to visualize the emotion as this little bug because then it's like out of your body. It's not like who you are. It's just something that has kind of landed on you. Like, wow, this actually sounds genius now that I'm saying it out
Yeah,
loud.
I was like, that's great. I love that. And I think too, it's like obviously this is so much easier just said
Oh
than done.
God.
Just like regulate your nervous system, which we're all trying to do. But it is true that even if you're like, you can keep yourself from reacting and yelling back at your kid or like just screaming at them to stop having the tantrum. It's like they're still watching everything you do. And if you're still like rushing around your house and doing everything at that speed, and then as soon as your husband makes the wrong noise, you snap, like that's still part of it. But I think it's just like, this is something that you're not going to master tomorrow, right? And it's just like an ongoing thing.
Yes, and let them be a part of it and see it and just say like, "Mommy doesn't know what to say right now because I'm stressed, so I just need a
I have an
second.
annoying bug.
I have an annoying bug and
Well,
her
and I
name is
think too,
Ellie." No.
because you've even shared that story about how Ellie, when she's like trying to delay her bedtime, she'll be like, well,
Yeah.
can we go do your bedtime routine or whatever it is? So it's like if they see you spending, well, you tell the story.
Oh, yeah, she'll just say like, "Do you wanna go do red light and legs up the wall, mommy?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And then we're doing it, and I'm like, "Wait, you're supposed to be in bed. Like, what are we doing?"
So they
But yeah.
like that. They want to be you. They like think you're the best
Mhm.
thing ever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, let them be on the journey with you. Why do you have to feed your kid the separate thing or do separate thing? Like, it's like everyone should be doing it together. And this should be the foundation that you're raising them
Yeah.
on. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's also so much easier. I'm like, there's so much of this parenting shit that I'm realizing now with Jake. It's like the easy way isn't necessarily like women. We think everything has to be so difficult, especially as moms. We have to like spend all this money and like sleep train our children, and it's got to be hard. It's like, or you could just fucking put them to sleep beside you and then roll over and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
But it's
know.
it's honestly just like maturing in life is realizing that every single, I don't even know what the right word is, like state of, like it's all a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's all meant to make us feel like it's going to be hard or it's going to be impossible, so that there's all these different ways, and there's always a million different ways to solve the same problem.
Yeah.
And it never really works. And it's like, so if you just understand that, and it's like something I've always said with just us being on a fertility journey and I want to be pregnant, and of just like how we're going to parent is like, I'm not, everyone's like, are you going to do this? Are you going to do this? And I'm like, I don't know, because I just know when I'm pregnant and I have to make the decision, I'm just going to trust myself to make the right decision. Like, I don't,
Yes.
in it, that's sleep training or co-sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't. So I just think people, everything has been overcomplicated to create a business out of it so that you can buy a service when you know what to do.
Yeah. Well, and then the last one, pillar 7, and this is gut health. And I like to say 1 food in, 1 food out. And I like to keep this simple because there's so much shit about like gut health and like what to do. But 70 to 80% of your child's immune system lives in their gut. So the state of their gut is the state of their immune system. So when we have leaky gut, when that gut lining is compromised, stress, lack of minerals, whatever, things are crossing into the bloodstream that shouldn't be, right? So that's when the immune system kind of panics. That's when we see chronic inflammation, and that shows up in those outputs I mentioned at the beginning. So the skin, the behavior, their immunity, they're always getting sick. So I'm not saying do some like full crazy gut protocol on your kid, but do this 1 food in, 1 food out. So maybe that 1 food in is something you've seen a million times, something you know feeds their microbiome, some kimchi, some sauerkraut, even plain whole milk yogurt has a lot of really great bacteria for the gut. Bone broth, if your kids love rice or quinoa or friggin' mac and cheese, like maybe you somehow sneak some bone broth in there. Maybe you start to lean on like more color and diversity in your vegetables. Like just think of one thing. Like we overcomplicate it and think like, well, if I can't overhaul my child's entire diet, I might as well not even start. But if you can just like add one thing in, that can make such a huge difference. And also, even just like if your kids love like raspberries, it's really easy to get into your head that raspberries aren't an incredible source of fiber and polyphenols and antioxidants and vitamin C. We kind of forget and get like, oh, well, my kid just doesn't really eat very good, but they love raspberries. Like they're getting so much. Just look into the foods that your kids love that you know are like on the more nutritious side, just so you can like pat yourself on the back a little bit for what you're already doing. Because it's so easy to forget that. Like we think, oh, oranges are just oranges, but like they're not, man. Vitamin C is so important.
It's crazy. No, it's so good. I know
I've
been like
doing-
loving just through my content, like teaching about the different types of food. And I got in my head a little bit in the beginning with like just sharing all those different recipes, and like they're all because they're all kind of like somewhat the same thing. And it's like, I don't want people thinking that like I'm making these things every single day, but it's just been like a cool way, because something that I love to do is if I'm like eating something consistently, because I have that trait about me where I like eat the same thing for months and then never eat it again. I always like research all the benefits and like,
yeah.
And I just like love going down those rabbit holes. And so it's been so fun to like bring that side to the content of like just explaining like all of these individual foods. There can be so many different benefits to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just have like somewhat of an awareness, and I mean, it's just real food at the end of the day. It's like, that's the easiest way. You don't have to do all this research and be weird, but like me, but
no, but I think it is important now because we're constantly just told that we're fucking up, and it's like fruit is bad and this is bad and you can't have milk and you can't have this. And it's like, I'm sorry, but the milk that I get for Ellie has 8 grams of protein per half a cup and lots of really good healthy fats. And I'm like,
well, and it's like a perfect balanced meal of like carbs, protein, fat, whole milk. It's like the best. It's like so good. It just is very like demonized, but you have to buy good quality, right? And so it's like, even find yourself there. It's like, are you, if like whole milk is the only good thing your kid will eat right now, it's like, okay, well, did you just start buying like oat milk because you read somewhere that that was better versus instead of the whole milk? And like, can you maybe buy a slightly better quality of that milk? And even just making swaps in terms of quality before you even start introducing all these weird foods that your kid might not like. It's like, okay, well, if they do eat raspberries, then maybe let's just buy organic
ones. Yeah. So I love that whole idea of like it can literally just be one thing. And then on that other side, maybe we take one small thing out. If it's something obvious, you're going to know what food I'm talking about for yourself. When you hear me say this, you're like, oh yeah, it's our whatever. try to cut it out or cut it down. You don't have to necessarily, like, if you're having it every day, have it twice a week, whatever it is. Just try removing it and seeing what starts to happen, if anything changes. Can you swap it out for something better? Because we can't just keep pulling everything out all the time without planting. So we have to like do both sides, right? So if we're adding more good things in, we got to kind of make room for them to do their thing. And same thing when we're removing all these good things, we also still have to balance. Like Ellie never liked sauerkraut, and then randomly the other day she was like, I love sauerkraut, and she's just eating it all the time now. I'm like, okay, cool, that's great, but it's not always. She doesn't always love that, so I don't want people to think that she's eating perfectly, but
No, kids are always just so interesting,
Up
and
and
some kids are so much easier than, like, even Mila, our niece, she will just like eat a 12-ounce ribeye steak, like, and that's what she wants for her meal every single day if she could have it her way, you know what I mean? And so where it's like her brother, all he wants is chicken fingers. So it's just like there's different, everyone's different, but
also just remember what I said at the beginning, that picky eating can be a zinc deficiency. And I think that's the one mineral that I did want to talk about today, is that low levels of zinc or really high levels of zinc in the body will give food, like it literally will taste differently if you have a zinc imbalance. So even maybe that's where you start. If your kid's really picky, you could look into some foods that are higher in zinc and see if that kind of helps things out a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. Have we ever correlated, because with this mineral blend that Kira talked about at the beginning that she got Ellie, all of our clients get that too when they join our program. And some clients can drink it super easily. Other clients have to start with literally like the tiniest sprinkle and they're gagging. And we've kind of correlated that it's usually people who were 4 low, which is extremely depleted, really struggle. But have we ever like paid attention to if they were depleted in zinc? Because zinc isn't part of 4 low, is it?
No, but it's like the next one, basically. It's like 4 and then zinc. But no, that's interesting. Because I really struggle with my blend and Ellie doesn't. So, but I wonder if hers is like a kid one, and so it's a bit different. It smells like sweet and good. I'm just like, what is this? What did I make? Why is hers good? But yeah, that's kind of the 7 pillars. And I feel like just remembering that you really just cannot sleep on these. You can't shortcut them. And I think when I was posting about Ellie's like mineral journey, that's the reason that I had so many people reaching out to me and being like, what did you give her? What's the mineral? Give me your mineral. I want that blend. And I'm just like, well, it's so much more than that. So that's kind of why I wanted to record this. And yeah, it's really given me this like vision of a program for children that is basically the root cause reset, but kid version. And so I've kind of been slowly building that and hoping to be offering it sometime in the next 5 years. So just keep your eyes and ears open. But I think just watching Ellie go through this and seeing how impactful the foundations were, and then how impactful those minerals were, and all of the other kind of things that I'm going to start incorporating on her health journey, I feel like people just need that information and want that information. So it's coming. Don't worry, guys.
TBD. It's so exciting. And I think it's also just a good reminder that everyone is doing their best they can with the information that they have. So it's always hard, especially for me, because I don't have children. Like, I feel like Kira can talk about it a little bit more, but we're never trying to shame parents. And we're coming from such a different angle than that we just really want to know, because it's even Kira who's checking all the boxes and doing all the things. Like, Ellie still was struggling with all of these things that we just would have never connected. And so, and it's even cool to say, just like about you, like working and creating that course, it's like you get to a point, especially for us, where we're kind of leading and we're sharing our journeys. And so much of our success and the reason that we are where we are is because of these hardships that we have gone through. And so it's like it gets to a point, especially for both of us, where it's like anything that does happen, it's almost like we know why. And it's like Ellie was probably severely depleted so that Kira could create this course and do this podcast. So it's just cool to see you even coming from that place of it's not your fault, and now you know better, and now we're doing better, and everyone else can too. So I think too, the other thing I was going to say is even listing these like foundational habits, I'm sure for a lot of you is like, that seems so overwhelming and so hard. And I can't imagine having this nighttime routine where the kids are just chill and there's no TV on or whatever. But it's like, if that seems overwhelming, it's almost just a bigger push or kick in the butt, that they probably need it even more. And as they become more regulated and their foundations are supported, all of this stuff will get way easier for them, and they'll just start living in line with their circadian rhythm, and then everything else just gets way easier. So one at a time, just like with anything, and encourage you to also make the change. And if you are already doing the thing, then just tell your kids they also have to start doing the thing. And yeah,
non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Morning light is a non-negotiable in our house. Anywho, thank you guys so much for listening. We just appreciate it so much. We love having you all here and watching this podcast grow. It's just been really freaking exciting for us. So thank you guys so much. And we hope that you are getting a lot out of it. Our DMs are always open if you have any questions. And please make sure that you subscribe to this wherever you listen. If you're listening on YouTube, you subscribe there, whatever that looks like. I don't have YouTube. Same with Apple and Spotify. Download the episode, comment on the episode, follow us on Instagram, message us on Instagram. Just pay attention to us, okay? Please. We're dying. No.
Help us.
We're dying for attention, but we love you all, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to The Wellness Effect. We're so grateful to be part of your wellness journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram. We'll put all of our handles in the show notes. If you have questions or ideas, slide into our DMs or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep creating your own wellness effect.